Hi everybody, welcome back. We're looking at a 2020 Mazda 3 in select trim. So we're going to talk about what $25,000 gets you in this car market. 2020 Mazda 3 sedan with select package and all-wheel drive. So you can see your list there and some other equipment it has. Not to forget that this select package will have Android Auto, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, dual zone climate control, leather steering wheel and shift knob with leatherette seating surfaces. Now if you so desire to get a heated seat setup, you'll need to go to a preferred package. That would also include the Bose sound system. This is my favorite setup with the snowflake white pearl paint. There's an extra $200 charge for it, but I always think it looks great on Mazdas because you can actually see more of the curves of the car. It's more sporty looking to me with the color keyed mirror, and then you have more visibility to other drivers as it's a light bright color. Now you can get it with front wheel drive. I actually prefer it with front wheel drive because the all wheel drive, it's nice to have the traction, but there's a little bit of power delay just because it carries the extra weight and transfer of the all-wheel drive system. When you hear a vehicle that is all-wheel drive, you might be looking for a button to push, but however in Mazda this proactive system ensures you shouldn't sense slippage. It's a proactive system that monitors 200 times per second through different sensors whether it needs it, so there's no button to push. It's active for you. Even if you get the front wheel drive model, you could do a winter tire setup, which is night and day between the factory tires and then the traction that exists on a snow tire. Here we're looking at your Mazda Connect system. Into the screen there, it's a full color display whether you get nav or you're using your Apple CarPlay. And when using Apple CarPlay, you've got your USB access right here. And you have different controls here for, say, if you get the Mazda navigation, SD card would go there. Your extra audio sources, like say for a thumb drive, would go here. Here's a power outlet. And then you could snake your cord through there. So this, of course, being the biggest that the Mazda 3 has ever been, you do have an armrest with cup holders. If there's kids back here, let's talk about the structural integrity. Mazda, again, the first company to put ultra high tensile steel into the production of the chassis, so a very stiff chassis, great for handling but also great for safety. And then you also have these safety features that keep you out of harm's way, like blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert. Other nice features that you'll find in the Mazda 3 is dual zone climate control for front driver and passenger. You can switch this and then just hit sync to have master control over what the driver has selected. You also have a nice display here giving you a digital readout of the speed, and you could change this and what's displayed there to a classic just by hitting the info button. You can go back to your LCD screen as a regular speedometer. You could see distance to empty and average miles per gallon. A compass will calculate or calibrate once you start to move. And this is all at select trim. So I'll leave it on speed right up at the top. Here's your deactivation of safety equipment. So if you like to drive along the right side of the lane and it keeps going off, you can deactivate it here. You have your traction control switch. It'll deactivate any inhibitions to keep the car in the intended path whichever way the wheels are turned, and then also you can spin the tires a little bit freely. Trunk button, and then you also have a keyless entry remote that looks like this. You could pop the trunk from the key fob, or there's a button back by the Mazda symbol right underneath it. While we're looking at the keys, you can tell that this does have a key inside of it. this would go into the keyhole behind the door handle. So you would have to pull the door handle, put this in, and unlock it in case this were ever to lose battery power. Then you would simply put this back together and touch it to the start-stop button, and it will start once you push the start-stop button, as long as this is by the start-stop button. As for the stereo, as stock, it is very good. It's not as bassy as, say, the Bose sound system, but it is good for clarity. Where they have placed the speakers is good. You can almost see the tweeter in there, highlighted in a little bit of yellow. Some other things that I don't want to forget to mention is it does have radar cruise control, which people like a lot. High rate cruising, you can set the preferred distance between you and the car in front of you by car lengths. And it will bring the car to a stop or slow it down and bring it back up to speed as necessary. Also has high beam control, so that way if your brights are on and you are passing an oncoming car, it'll sense that and automatically dim them, as long as you have the light selector on automatic. There is a button on automatic right down here. Just hit that and you're active. Here's that keyhole I was talking about, right behind here. So you'll have to pop that key into there and twist it while you're holding the door open. Or the door handle open. Fuel door, driver's side, as long as the driver's door is unlocked, you can access it. And then they give you a nice shelf here to pop the cap on. And it's regular 87 octane. So one of the cheaper alternatives to fuel your Mazda. I think we should crank it up. So we're under the hood of the Mazda 3 now, and if you go out to your current car and pull the fuse panel box off, see if they gave you extra fuses and or a fuse puller. It's just attention to detail that I like that Mazda does. So here you have the 2.5 naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, and Mazda's put this in many of their different vehicles. It's reliable. It's decent power. Its torque is just as much as of its horsepower that it has, which is 186. But it's been said that this has racing headers on it to help with exhausting that energy out of the fuel that it's using. So Skyactiv technology, we like that a lot. It's brought awards for its fuel efficiency 5 years in a row as being the most fuel efficient brand. So 2.5 4-cylinder and the Mazda product as a lineup carries a 5-year 60 for engine coverage, for powertrain, transmission, the all-wheel drive system, 5 years and 60,000 miles. And if you look at our reports from Consumer Reports and where we score, we're pretty reliable. Here's that button underneath for popping the trunk. And this is the biggest trunk that the Mazda 3 has ever seen. You still have your carpeted floor mats that attach to the floorboard. Then you have your temporary spare. Sometimes people put a first aid kit or jumper cables in this space here that's available. And there's your jack storage. And again, if you run into trouble before touching the spare, you have roadside assistance that you can call for, and that's good for 3 years and 36,000 miles. And that also comes with any certified pre-owned vehicle. You have roadside assistance as well. Stay tuned because we'll be covering a CX-3 next, so you can subscribe or like. That'd be helpful. Laying the seats down, and of course, depending on where that seat back is for the front, you might have to adjust to get that to come down, but also protected by a side air curtain for rear passenger safety. Here is an inlay of lights, so more people see when you're changing lanes, or if you're across the intersection, they know which direction you're going. You have an indicator here for inside, and there is your blind spot monitor indicator. So I hope you enjoyed that quick look at a Mazda 3. If there's any specific questions that I can answer for you, I'd be happy to. You could drop a comment, and then I'll get you the information that you need. This particular one is from Japan. You just look at the VIN number. If it starts with a J, it's built in Japan. If it starts with a 3, it's built in Mexico. So with that, have a great day, safe travels to you and your family, and I'll look forward to hearing from you.